2 weeks ago, U.S. Special Forces captured the dictator Nicolás Maduro. You heard the news, and what was your reaction?
I wasn't surprised. And I told that the president today. He asked me if I had been surprised. I said, no, I trust you. I know he always keeps his word. And this represents the beginning of the end of the war. That's what happened on January 3rd. And I believe it's an historical moment, not only for Venezuela, I would say for the whole continent.
Maduro is out, but his people, as you know, are still running the government, including Maduro's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez. Now, she is the interim president, and the White House has said that it has been great working with her. What do you think about that? Who is Delcy Rodriguez?
Well, from an ideological perspective, I mean, she's a communist, and she has been part of all these structure, criminal structure, that has put in place not only to destroy Venezuela, but to harm the rest of the hemisphere, including the United States. She has been the one in charge of the financial structure to bypass U.S. sanctions. She's a main liaison with Russia, with Iran, and other criminal groups. She's absolutely someone that's close, as I have to say, to Russia, to Iran, to China. I mean, those were the three ambassadors who were in front row the day she swore in the National Assembly just less than 2 weeks ago, and she saluted them and hugged them after she did that. And that's where her loyalty is.
Right. What would you say to liberals who were out on the streets here in the United States supporting Maduro, calling for him to be released?
Release Maduro right now! Release Maduro right now!
Well, to some of them, you might give them the benefit of the doubt that they are not well informed that this is a criminal that has brought, not only poverty, but pain and death to our country, and also intentionally destabilize the whole region. I believe there are others that know the truth, and they are doing it just because they opposite President Trump's policies. So, I mean, we're talking about a system that has put in prison over 18,000 people in the last 20 years, and there have been over 20,000 extrajudicial executions. This is state terrorism. These are crimes against humanity, as the international organizations and the United Nations have labeled them.
What would you say to fair-minded Americans who are war-weary, very skeptical of foreign interventions, and really want our government and President Trump to just focus on domestic issues? What would you say to those Americans right now?
Well, first of all, I understand their concern because of what has happened in the past. But we have to understand that what's going on in Venezuela is a domestic issue because it has direct consequences in the lives of American people.
Explain.
Not only because of the drugs that are being brought into the United States that create thousands of deaths annually, but because we're talking about a structure of criminal structure that has tentacles all along the Americas, and they are systematically undermining democratic institutions and Republican institutions. So this is about a real threat in the heart of the Americas. And imagine what it would mean, on the other hand, an orderly transition to democracy, not only huge business for American companies and employment in the United States, the possibility not only to develop oil, gas, rare minerals, this is huge for American business and employment, but also from a migration perspective. I always insist on this. Hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans will come immediately back home as soon as we have a transition to democracy.
Do you want to be the president of Venezuela?
I want to serve my country where I am more useful. I got a mandate, and I have that mandate very present every day. It has meant taking huge risks and paying very high costs, not only for me, but also for my family and our teams. But I do believe that, I mean, there's a mission, and we are going to turn Venezuela into that land of grace. And I believe I will be elected when the right time comes as president of Venezuela, the first woman president of Venezuela.
I know that you went through many political difficulties to get to the place that you are right now, but you've also made tremendous personal family sacrifices. And I know you don't like to talk about it, or you don't often talk about it, but now that you're out of the country, explain what those sacrifices are that you and your whole family made in order to get to this point.
Well, let me tell you something. Anybody that fights for freedom today in Venezuela, it's risking not only their own freedom and life, but also their loved ones, neighbors, friends, children, parents. I realized the life of my children was at risk 15 years ago, so I decided to take them out. I mean, I had been banned from leaving Venezuela for 12 years, so imagine, it meant I wasn't there when they graduated from college, when my daughter got married, when my son got married. And, you know, it makes you feel very guilty, but at the same time, I always remind myself that I'm doing this for them. And they are very generous and very supportive. They always say, Mom, keep doing it. No, you know, we know why you are doing it. And having the chance to hug them in Christmas after 2 years without seeing them, believe me, it also gives you the possibility to value what you love most. And you know something, Rachel? Everything we have done, the Venezuelan people, is for love. That's why this is so powerful. The force that moves us is love. Love for our country, love for our children, our family, and love for freedom. And that's why nothing will stop us. That's why we will prevail. Venezuela will be free.
Thank you, María Corina.